All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are ready to begin, and we're going to start out today on our backs. So make yourself comfortable. You can bring a blanket down if you like. Place that behind your head. You can start with your knees bent, or you can take your legs out long. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to just pause the music here. We'll come back to that. And I want you to just take a moment to settle yourself. Make sure you feel even side to side. Everything rests comfortably. And you can just allow your backside to settle. Maybe you close your eyes. And just begin to feel yourself right here on your mat, growing present in the moment. Maybe we take the hands to the low belly today, just both hands to the low belly, and rest your palms there. And just feel the gentle movement of your body with the breath without changing anything. Feeling the rise and fall of your palms. And we're going to see if you can breathe all the way down into the belly. Just feel your belly balloon up. As you exhale out, breathe all that air out. Feel your belly settle back in. We're just going to feel that movement of the belly. Just belly breaths. Growing comfortable with this feeling. A natural breath. Just allowing the breath to deepen. Now we're going to take this into the yogic 3-part breath, or Dirga Pranayama. And all this involves, we're going to do that same thing, just breathing down into the belly. Then we're going to allow that breath to continue up into the ribs, up into the top of the chest, expanding just the front of the chest. And then as you exhale out, you're going to let it go in reverse, letting the chest, the ribs soften back in, letting the belly soften back in. So we have those 3 parts as we're inhaling into the belly, the ribs, and the chest lifts. And then we exhale out in reverse, chest, ribs soften in, belly hugs back in. And just keep it going, feeling these 3 parts. If you want to bring more awareness into your chest portion, you can always slide your hands up to your ribs and feel the expansion there with the breath. And it just builds that awareness. You can feel the breath traveling within, but you can also feel the way that the body responds as well. Allowing for that movement of the lungs. And let's just take 2 more nice deep breaths here. We're going to let go of that awareness of the 3-part breath, preparing our awareness for some movement. We're going to begin the movement, starting with just bending into the knees. The legs are out long. And then we're going to tuck the knees in towards the chest and just give yourself a squeeze, maybe rocking a little side to side, but see if you can keep your shoulders and your head nice and relaxed. Feel your spine down on the mat. And then we're going to come to stillness. And from here, we're just going to make our way up to a seat. So you can rock up, you can come onto your side, rest your way up. Once we're up, we're going to come up onto a blanket here. So we've got the nice fold and then coming right to the top and the front edge of that and finding our cross-legged seat. You just want to make sure that you're comfortable here. You can feel your sitting bones, both are even on the mat. Allow your legs to settle. And then maybe we close the eyes, just resting the hands down on the lap. And from here, we're going to begin to take some circles, reaching right shoulder towards the right knee, sweeping the chest forwards to the left and back. And we're just going to swirl it out here. Slowing down the movement, staying present as much as we can. The mind will want to wander off, and we just gently bring it back in. Our big focus today is going to be on letting go of the ego, which in this yogic sense is just our mind attaching labels to ourselves, which we allow it to do. We're going to just pause, and then we'll take the circles the opposite way. And we're just going to try to let go of that, defining ourselves, how we think any pose should be in the body, or it's more like how we want it to be sometimes versus the reality of the situation. We don't want to be fighting that. We want to just live in the moment and experiencing everything just as it is. Letting go of that. Dropping the ego. One more circle. And then we'll slow it down and come to stillness. And now we're going to take a twist, but we'll do it a little bit differently today. We're just going to take the left hand over to the right knee, and we'll tee the right arm out to the side. And then we're going to rotate the right ribs back, the right arm back. We'll see if we can keep it in line with the shoulder. And then we'll just let the right hand drop down. You can come down to your fingertips. And we're keeping that length in the spine. We're just rotating the right ribs back. Take one more breath. And then to unwind, we're going to unwind the torso, coming back through center, and we can just switch out the hands. Now the right hand's going to cross over to the left knee. We'll start by just teeing the left arm out to the side. And then we're going to think about reaching the left ribs back, drawing that left arm back, but keeping that left arm in line with the shoulder. We'll pause at our edge and then just let that left hand drop down. You can either gaze just forwards or over that back shoulder. And then just slowly unwinding the torso. And we'll switch back out the hands. And then we're going to uncross the legs. We'll bring opposite shin in front and resettle. And then from here, we're going to find a tall spine. We'll just take the fingertips down to the mat. Now, if the fingers don't reach the mat, we can take a block and bring the hands to the block. And we might just pause like this, lengthening all the way up the spine. From the tailbone, up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. If it already feels like a lot, we pause here. If we'd like to go a little deeper into the sensation, then we're going to hinge right at the hips, just walking the hands forwards a little bit at a time. And you just pause where you find that edge. We're just listening to the body. Again, letting go of any ego that says maybe we need to go a little bit further or go deeper into this, because we're just listening and we're going to just do what the body wants here. Relaxing the neck. And then just slowly walking the hands back and lifting back up. And then we'll just rest the hands on the lap again. And we're going to drop the chin down towards the chest. And then rock right ear over towards the right shoulder, and we'll just pause. And then we're going to come back down through center. We'll rock left ear towards the left shoulder and pause. And then come back down through center, and we'll pause here. And then we're going to lift the chin back up. So we're parallel with the mat here. And then slowly lifting the chin up towards the ceiling if this feels okay in the neck. And just feeling that nice gentle opening across the front of the neck. And then we can drop the gaze back down And from here, we're going to take the hands out by the sides. We'll reach the right arm straight up. And then we're going to lean towards the left, just crawling the left fingertips out. And then we can come back up through center, and we'll take that right hand down. We'll reach the left arm up, and then we're going to lean in and just feel that length from your left hip up through the left fingertips. And then we'll come back up. We can let that left hand come down, and then we're going to inhale to reach both arms up, palms meet. We'll shift the gaze up if that feels okay. Just linking the gaze to the palms. And then we can begin to draw the hands down through heart center. You can let the gaze drop. And then if you have an intention that you are working on, anything that you are working on this moment in your life, you can take that to heart, an affirmation, a mantra. And then from here, we'll just take the hands down. We're going to uncross the legs, and we'll make our way to tabletop. So coming up and over, onto hands and knees, patting under your knees if you like. Lining everything up. Fingers spread nice and wide, so we're spreading that weight out across the finger pads, the knuckle pads, and a few rounds of cat and cow here to start. Just inhaling to drop belly, lift chest, lift tailbone. Exhaling to round. And just keep it going. Following your breath. Linking the mind to the breath, to the movement. Noticing when it wanders off and just gently bringing it back in. Let's go. One more cycle. And then we're going to just find a neutral spine, gazing down towards the mat. And from here, we're going to just scrunch up the right side. We're going to think about reaching the right shoulder towards that right hip. And then we'll come towards the left side. We're going to reach left shoulder towards the left hip. We'll go side to side just a few more times here. You're going to feel into your side body as one side tightens, the other side lengthens. Just go side to side one more time. And then coming back to center, long spine. We're going to step the right foot straight out to the side, and we'll plant the right foot down. So this gate pose shape, arch lined up with that left knee. And from here, we're just going to rock back and forth just a few times, keeping that right leg long. And you'll feel into your inner thigh here, into the groin. You can determine how much of a stretch you get by how far we rock the hips back. Let's just go one more time. And then we'll come to stillness. We're just going to bring that right leg back in. We'll step the left leg out. And then from here, just those gentle rocks. Feeling into your inner thigh. One more time. And then we'll come to stillness. And we'll bring that left leg back in. Now from here, we're going to take the hands to blocks. You can determine what height you like here of the three. And we're going to step the right foot in between the palms. And then as you're ready, slowly rising up, we're going to steady through that right foot. Rise up. Hands could always come to the front knee. And then we just reach the arms up as we're ready. And then from here, let's just loop the left fingers around that right wrist. We're going to create a little length up that right side, and we're going to gently tip in towards the left. A little side stretch. And then coming back up through center, we'll release the hands apart. We can switch it out, looping the right fingers around the left wrist. Just leaning in towards that right side. And then coming back up through center, let's take both hands just shoulder width distance apart. And then from here, gazing down, we'll take hands down to the mat or the blocks. And we're going to take it into a twist. So we'll plant that left hand down. We're going to rotate right, reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling. And maybe we dial that right thumb down and we take this into a bind. We can scoop that right hand behind the low back, and we're going to think about reaching the right ribs up, the right shoulder up. And then just releasing, we'll reach that right arm back up towards the ceiling. We'll shift our gaze down as we take that right hand down to the mat, and then stepping the right leg back, left leg will come forwards. So we've got that 90-degree bend in the knee. We'll rise up, but take your time, because remember, we're not rushing. And then once we come here, we're just going to make sure we feel settled in the low half. That right knee is comfortable, hips facing forwards, fingertips reaching up. And now we'll start by, let's see how we're going to loop the left fingers around the right wrist. We're going to start by taking a lean in towards that left side. This might feel a little bit more stable. And then we'll come back up through center. We're going to just loop the right fingers around that left wrist, steady down through your base as you lean towards the right. And then come back up through center. We'll take both hands shoulder width distance apart. We'll shift the gaze down, taking hands down to the mat or the blocks. Right palm will stay planted. We're going to rotate left, sweeping the left arm up, and we'll just pause here a moment. And then we can dial the left thumb down, sweep that left hand behind the low back, maybe over to that bottom hip crease. I'm just going to continue that rotation up. Your gaze here could be forwards, or we can gaze up. And then we'll release that back hand. We can reach left arm up towards the ceiling. Then we'll lower that left hand down. We'll step the left leg back. And from here, we can let go of our blocks. We're going to take a child's pose. So we can take knees a little bit wider, big toes to touch, ease your hips down towards your heels. Forehead down towards the mat or a block, and we're going to settle in here for 3 breaths. Just follow that flow of the breath in and out. One more breath. And then next inhale, we're going to begin to rise up. We'll come up onto hands and knees, our tabletop, and then taking the hands forward, palms width distance. We're going to keep the fingers spread wide, preparing for downward facing dog. We'll tuck the toes under, and we're going to lift the hips up and back, reaching hips up and back towards the wall behind, and then we can walk the dog, just bending one knee, straightening the opposite leg, and just go side to side. And think about reaching the upper arms alongside your ears. If this feels tight in your shoulders, you can always take your hands a little bit wider or let your palms roll out a little bit. And then we're reaching shoulders away from the ears. We're reaching the hips up and back towards the wall behind. You can think about all that length. Let's come to stillness. And we're going to bend into the knees, shift the gaze forwards, and we'll walk up to the top. As many steps as you need. Once you come to the top, we're going to take the feet wide, maybe to the outer edges of the mat. And you can always take your hands to your ankles here, or we could grab for opposite elbows. This is what I was trying to say. We could take a little rag doll if it feels good to sway side to side. The key is just to keep a generous bend in the knees here, so your spine can just traction out. You can let your neck go long. Let's switch out the cross of the arms if we took the elbows. And then we'll come to stillness. We're going to let the hands come down. And then from here, steadying down through the feet, slowly begin to rise your way up. You can let the hands just kind of slide up. And once we come all the way up to stand, we're going to take a nice inhale, reaching shoulders up towards the ears. And exhaling, rolling the shoulders down and back. And we'll do that 2 more times, getting that nice opening for the shoulders, the back. And then just let your shoulders soften down. Next inhale, we're going to reach the arms around and up. And just like we did before, we'll loop the right fingers around the left wrist. We're going to lean in towards the right side. You can create a little extra tension with those fingers on the wrist. And then we'll come back up through center. We'll switch it out. We'll loop the left fingers around the right wrist length, and then we lean in towards the left side. And you can create a little extra stretch with that opposite hand. And then let's come back up through center. We'll take the hands shoulder width distance apart. And then as you exhale, fold back in. We're going to hinge over the hips. Hands can come down to the mat or blocks here. And then we're going to keep our hips low. We're going to let the hips maybe sink even a little bit lower. And then we're going to take our forearms to our thighs. We're going to lift up. And you can keep your chest at a diagonal here. We're just going to think about the length from the tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. And we're just going to let the hips settle any amount. Keep the weight in the forearms light as you can. Let your hips settle. Take one more breath. And then we're going to fold back in. Let that go. Now steadying down through the feet. Again, we're going to slowly rise our way up. And then just letting the shoulders soften down. We'll step the feet in a little bit closer together. Just give your legs a little wiggle. This is a great time for a break if you want some water, if you want to take any additional little movements, kind of a little intermission. And now that we're here, we're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat. We'll go towards the short wall over here. You can leave your blocks where they are. Yeah. We're not going to use them just right away. We're going to start with our legs wide, preparing for our warrior two. So about wrist distance if we have our arms teed out. Then we'll take hands to the hips. We're going to lift up onto the left toes, and we're going to open up the left hip, bringing that left knee to point towards the front of the room here. And then we'll bend into that left knee, planting that left foot. You can either keep your right toes angled towards that long edge, or you can even let the right toes angle forward slightly. Gives the hips a little bit more freedom of movement, so we can keep that left knee over the ankle. And then we're going to tee the arms out. We'll steady down through both feet. And then from here, we're going to hinge forward over the left hip crease. We'll take left forearm to thigh. We're going to reach the right arm up. And then let's rise up. We'll tee the arms out, straighten into that left leg, reach the left arm up. And then we'll tee the arms back out. We're going to bend into the front knee, warrior two. We're going to drop the left forearm down, reach the right arm up. We'll rise back up, straighten into that left leg, flip the left palm up, reaching the left arm up. Let's just do it one more time. We're going to bend into that front knee, hinge forwards, our side angle, rise up, straighten front leg, reach that left arm up. And then we'll tee the arms back out, bend into that front knee, and our gaze is going to shift down. We're going to windmill the hands down to the mat or our blocks. We can bring our blocks in here. And then we're just going to pause for a moment in our lunge, letting the hips settle, creating that length all the way from the tailbone up through the crown of the head. And then a little bounce in the back foot. We're going to take a big step up, right foot. Inhaling to half lift. Exhaling to fold in. Inhaling, we'll rise, sweeping the arms up. Exhaling, arms down by the side. Now we'll turn to face the right side of the mat. So facing that long edge of the mat, we'll step the feet wide again. Feet are parallel. We're going to lift up onto the right toes, opening up that right hip, planting that right foot down. Finding our alignment, heel to arch or a little bit wider, and then letting the hips settle, adding the arms last but not least. And we're still facing forwards towards the mountains. And then from here, we're going to hinge over the right hip crease, take right forearm to thigh, reach the left arm straight up. We'll just pause here today. And then we're going to rise up, warrior two. We'll straighten the right leg, reach the right arm up, our reverse triangle. We'll tee the arms back out, bend into that front knee, hinge forward, left arm reaches up. We're just going super slow with this today. We'll rise back up, straighten into the right leg, reach the right arm up, bend back into the front knee, hinge, we'll reach that left arm up, Rise back up. Straighten right leg, reach right arm up. And then we'll bend back into the front knee, tee the arms out. Now we're gonna shift the gaze down, windmill the hands down to the mat as we roll up onto the ball of the left foot, sorry. And then we've got that right knee over the ankle. We've got our feet about hips width distance apart. We're gonna settle for a breath. Finding a little extra pause here. And then a little bounce in that left foot. We're gonna take a big step up. Inhaling to half lift. Exhaling to fold in. Inhaling to rise, sweeping arms all the way up. And then exhaling to softly float the arms. All right, now one more time, we're gonna come back to the short wall. This time, we can bring our blocks with us. We'll bring the blocks right in front. We're gonna start with our feet. Well, actually, we can bring the blocks. Maybe you wanna start out with them one by either foot, just so we can reach them. Our feet are wide. We're gonna revisit our warrior two on the left side. We'll lift up onto the left toes, open the left hip up, left knee is gonna point forwards. Maybe it feels a little bit more familiar. You can settle into that front knee. We're gonna straighten out through the back leg. We can always take back foot a little further back. And then we'll tee the arms out. Now from here, we'll straighten into the left leg. We're gonna take this into our triangle pose. We'll hinge over the left hip crease. Reach your left fingertips as far forwards as you can. Then just let your left hand drop down, right arm reaches up. We're gonna think about reaching the right ribs up, right fingertips up. Take one more breath here. And then we inhale to rise back up. We'll take hands to the hips. We're gonna shift the left toes forwards. We'll lift onto the right toes. Open that right hip up. Find our warrior two to start. This time we're gonna face the props and we're gonna press that back foot down. We're gonna straighten out through that back leg. Think spinning your left inner thigh towards the wall behind. Then straightening into the right leg. We're just gonna be mindful we don't lock that front knee. We're gonna hinge over the right hip crease. Let the right hand drop down. It could come to a block. That's why we have the blocks here. Or you can lower that right hand to the shin. You could float to the inside of the shin. Steady down through your feet. One more breath. And then we rise up with control. We'll take the hands to the hips. We're gonna steer the right toes towards the long edge. We're gonna firmly plant both feet down. Feet are parallel. Take an inhale. As you exhale, hinge right over the hips, folding in long spine. Once we get to halfway, we'll take the hands down to the mat or our blocks. We're gonna keep steadying down through both feet, lengthening through the legs, and then think about reaching your tailbone back, but at the same time, lengthening the crown of your head forwards. Now from here, our hands are either to the mat or blocks. We're gonna take the left hand right underneath the face. It could be on a block. We just take the block with us. And we'll line it up. We're gonna plant that left palm down. We'll take the right hand up to the right hip. And then we're gonna rotate right, belly, ribs, chest. We're gonna reach the right arm up towards the ceiling or keep the hand to the hip. It's up to you. Crown of the head's reaching forwards, tailbone's lengthening back, and we're rotating the right ribs up. We'll take the right hand down to the hip. We're gonna unwind this twist, switch it out. So the right hand will come down, left hand comes up to the hip, and we're gonna think about rotating the left ribs up, left shoulder up, reaching the left arm up. And we just will work towards reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling. But that's gonna depend on the amount of rotation here, because we are working towards keeping that left shoulder in line with the torso. And then we'll take the left hand down to the hip. We're gonna unwind this twist. Take the right hand to the hip as well. You can bend a little into both knees. Slowly begin to rise your way up. And then once you're up, walk, step, hop. Heel toe the feet in. Give yourself a nice little wiggle. Release it out in whatever way feels good. Great. And then let's come back up to the top of the mat. This is where we're gonna do a little balance. We're gonna find our tree pose today. So if you wanna come close to the wall, you can. If you wanna step off your mat, particularly if you're on a thick mat. And then we're gonna take our feet hips width distance apart. We'll steady down through the left foot. We're gonna just activate that whole left leg. Let your right foot get a little bit lighter. And then we're gonna open up from the hip crease, taking that right knee out to the side any amount, but at the same time, keeping the left hip forwards. And then we can find our bind. You just slide that right foot to the ankle, or we bring the right foot to the calf. We could bring the right foot above the knee if you want to come to the inner hip crease. And then options with the arms, bringing palms to touch, growing branches, but travel slowly. Keep your gaze steady. Work where you're at today. Wobbles are okay. That's strength building. Our trees. What happens when you have a tree that's not exposed to any wind? It grows weak and it can easily be knocked over, but when we have a little wind, a little movement, it builds strength. All right, let's bring palms to touch. We'll lower the hands down through heart center. We'll rotate that right knee forwards. Set that right foot down. Give it a little wiggle. Let it go. We're gonna steady down through the right foot this time. Let that left foot lighten. We'll open up the left hip. We're gonna bring our left foot to the ankle. This is our kickstand. We could come higher. You guys know the options. But we're gonna try to keep the pelvis facing forwards. Notice that that might not mean that we bring that left knee right out to the side. It's gonna be a little bit forwards, and we work from opening at the hip. And then adding the arms, you can take hands to heart center. You can grow branches. You might have a little wind in here. We're just gonna find the breath. Let go of the ego, any conformity or to these ideas that we may have preconceived. And then we'll bring palms to touch, rotate that left knee forwards, set that down. And then just let your hands, your arms go loose here and just a nice swish. And really just let your arms swing. And then this lets go. And then we'll slow it down and come to stillness. And now we'll just do a nice little energy crossover. This is something that I like to do kind of on a daily basis. We can just find our mountain pose. We're gonna take the left hand and just cross it over to the right shoulder, like the top of the shoulder. You're gonna kind of dig your finger pads in. And then you're gonna slowly just begin to reach that left arm forwards, down over the shoulder, across your chest, kind of all the way down to that left hip. And once you get there, you can just let that go. And then we're gonna do that 2 more times. We just bring the hand up to the shoulder. We kind of dig in so you get some sensation. You're gonna sweep that left hand down across the chest over to the opposite hip, and then you can just let that release. And we'll do it 1 more time. Sing down and over. It's like a little massage for your neck. But then that energy crisscrosses, and then we just let it go. And then we do it on the opposite side. We'll take the right hand over up to the top of the shoulder, digging the fingertips in, crossing down, and releasing, and then 2 more times. It's nice to do it 3 times. I don't know what the magic of 3 is, but it seems like a good number. Cross it down. All right, now we're just gonna find our traditional mountain pose. Maybe you take a moment and just observe how you feel, if you feel energetically any different. And we're gonna steady down through both feet. We'll inhale to reach the arms around and up. And then we're gonna exhale to fold in, hinging over the hips. And an inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold in, and we'll plant the hands. We're gonna step both feet back here to a plank pose. We can instantly drop knees down if we wanna take this kneeling. We're gonna make sure that everything is engaged and in a line here. See if you can feel from your heels, through your hips, through your shoulders, if everything's in a line. We're gazing down. We're gonna take 1 more breath. We're not gonna let the hips sag. There's no back bending here. Belly button scooping up and in. And then we'll drop the knees down, untucking the toes. We're gonna shift forward and lower all the way down. We'll slide hands down alongside the low ribs here. Thumbs are gonna kind of tickle those low ribs, elbows hug in, and we're gonna be light in the palms. Try to be as light as you can. As you inhale, begin to peel up head, neck, chest, a baby cobra, but we're gonna lift from the backside so our palms are light, elbows hugging in, the spine is long. Exhale and lower down. We'll walk the hands forwards. We can overlap the palms, rest on one cheek, and then just bending into your knees. Let your feet swish side to side, windshield wiper. And then one more time, and we'll come to stillness. And then just slowly float your feet back down. We're going to take the hands down alongside the low ribs and hug the elbows in. As you inhale, begin to press up through tabletop. And we'll pause here. If you want a pad under your knees, grab that knee pad. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot straight back. And we'll just pause for a moment, lengthening out through the right heel. And then we're going to kickstand the left foot out to the side. We're going to roll open towards that right edge of the mat, rolling the right foot down for a kneeling side plank. And we'll reach the right arm up, straight up towards the ceiling. And then from here, we're going to invite a little bit of a twist, an opening. We're going to begin to reach that right arm back, reach that right ribs back, and we can open chest up towards the ceiling. Nice big opening, if that feels okay. And then we're going to slowly begin to close that top hand back down. We'll bring the right hand down to the mat. We're going to bring everything back in. Step that right knee in. We'll step the left foot straight back. And then we're going to kickstand the right foot out to the side at the same time, rolling the left hip up towards the ceiling, planting that left foot down, reaching the left arm up. And then we're going to, from this shape, invite that little opening, reaching the left ribs back, that left arm back. We're going to keep the left arm in line with the torso, lengthening out through the left fingertips. And then we're going to slowly rotate back down, taking that left hand down to the mat, bringing the right leg knee back in, bringing the left knee back in. And then from here, we'll take the knees wide, child's pose. We can bring the big toes to touch, ease ourselves down any amount, but listening to the body here. Find your release and 3 breaths. Each exhale out can be a new release. Letting go, whatever you need to. The body feels it. It's more than just the breath letting go. And then from here, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to lift our head up, our chest up, so we create a little bit of room. And then from here, we're going to take the right arm, we're going to rotate the palm up, and we're going to scoop that right arm under the left. A little thread the needle. So we'll rotate a little bit, and we're lowering that right shoulder down. If you can, lowering your head down to the mat, or we could bring our blanket in here. So it's like child's pose, thread the needle, just a little different sensation. And then to come out of this, we can press into that left palm, lifting the chest so we create enough room that we can just slide that right hand out, bring the right hand forwards. This time we'll take the left hand, we're going to scoop the left arm under, letting that left palm rotate up, and then softly lowering left shoulder, left ear down. Again, you can bring the ground higher up if you need to, bringing a blanket in. And then we're going to just begin to lift the chest up again. We can unwrap that left arm. We'll place the left arm forwards. We're going to walk both hands up. You can find a tabletop. And then from here, we're going to scoot the legs around and just draw the legs forwards. We'll find a seat. We'll take both legs out long and just give the legs a little wiggle. And then from here, we'll take the feet wide as you're comfortable going. And then we're just going to bend into the right knee and just bring the sole of the foot in. And you can always add a block under this bent knee. We're going to be up on a blanket or some support if you like here. Just make sure everything's comfortable. We've got a long spine. And we're going to take the hands in front, just coming up onto the fingertips. Creating that length from the tailbone all the way up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. And you're going to listen to your body here. We're going to hinge right at the hips. We're going to crawl the hands forwards. And you're just going to pause where you notice you slow in that folding action at the hips. And then once you're there, just relax your neck and soften your shoulders. But we're not going to pull or force. We're just going to settle in with the breath here. Over time, you feel like you can go a little deeper. You can always take the hands a little further forwards. Because this is an important thing. When we are looking for our edge, know that it's always just a momentary thing. It's never a permanent static thing. So your edge in one moment, after a few breaths, might be a little bit different. We listen, we look for that. Sometimes we come forwards a little bit, sometimes we come back. Now we're going to slowly begin to walk the hands back up. And then from here, we're going to, let's just take the left hand inside of the left leg. And we're going to take the right hand. We're going to sweep the right arm back as we rotate the right ribs back. And let's just lower the right hand down. So we're in this twist towards the right side. And then we're going to reach the right arm straight up towards the ceiling. And now we're going to tip towards the left leg. We're going to reach the right fingers towards that left leg, and your left hand can just slide down the leg. You can always hold on to your ankle, the back of your calf, or if you can reach your foot. And then we're lengthening all the way up that right side. There's a little twist here, right ribs reaching up. And then next inhale, we're going to rise all the way back up. We can let that right hand come down. We're going to lean a little bit into that right hand. We might even take it a little bit further behind. And if you do have something under that right knee, we can take that out. It might be a little uncomfortable at this point. So we can sweep the left arm up. And this might just be where we stay, just kind of leaning into that right palm, reaching the left fingertips up. But if you love this next stretch, if you want to go here, we're going to send the weight into the bottom palm. We'll rainbow the hips forwards and up, and we can rotate that left foot down. But this is just an option. Another thing, that bottom hand could always come to a block for a little extra height. If the hips are lifted, we'll slowly lower back down. We're going to let that top hand slowly cross back over to the left, and we'll just find our seat. Pausing for a moment. And then we switch it out. Take your time, because there's no rush. And we settle in, make sure you're comfortable. We've got our shape. And then from here, we're going to find that tall spine. We're going to bring the hands in front, and we're just hinging over the hips, crawling fingertips forwards, listening for that edge. Once we find it, then we soften in. Take about 4 breaths here. Listen to your breath. Observe for any changes in sensation. Just hinging right at the hips. Now, next inhale, we'll slowly begin to walk hands back and lift up. And then this is where we'll take the right hand inside of the right leg. We're going to sweep the left hand behind, rotating towards the left and letting that left hand lower down. And then from here, we're going to begin to lift the left arm up. We'll just reach the left arm up towards the ceiling to start. And then we're going to hinge at the right hip crease, reaching the left arm over towards that right leg. So the left arm extending towards the right leg. Rotating the right ribs up. And then from here, slowly rising up. We're going to let that left hand come down. We're going to actually lean into that left hand. We're going to sweep the right arm up and towards the left. And then the options here, if you want to send the weight into that bottom palm and rainbow the hips up, then we can plant that right foot down. And it's just lightly pressing the hips forwards. You can even find a little upwards lift of the chest. And then we lower slowly back down. We're going to let that right hand cross down and we'll come back through. Now from here, we're going to take the left foot just a little bit wider. We'll bend into the right knee and we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, and you can take blocks in here under both legs if you like. Bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. We're just going to settle in, finding that tall spine, letting the hips soften open, and we might just pause here, or we're going to hinge and tip forwards over the hips. We're going to listen for that edge. Pause there. You close your eyes. Just turn your focus inward here, feeling into the sensation. Letting go of any urge to pull or create tension in your shoulders. Loosening up shoulders and neck. Allowing each breath to release, soften. Next inhale, we'll slowly lift back up. We'll help the legs together. And then from here, let's just step the feet wide. We can lean back into our palms, and we're just going to take a little windshield wiper. One more time. And then bringing the knees back up and heel toeing the feet back in. We can walk the hands forwards and then just give yourself a nice hug here. Wrap your arms around your legs. Just tuck your chin in. Now from here, we'll lift back up again. We're going to make sure that we have a block beside us. Anything you like for Shavasana. If you want to add socks or a layer here before we come down onto our backs, and take the time to do that. We're not going to come back up again, so making sure you have everything you need, and then coming down to lie on your back. And we're going to just start with the feet planted, knees pointing up towards the ceiling, and we're going to set up for a bridge pose. So planting the feet about hips width distance apart, knees pointing up. Arms down by the sides. As you inhale, press into your heels. Slowly begin to lift your hips up. Lift your spine up. Just see how high you can lift here without any ego, without any preconceived notions. You're just listening to this moment in time and whatever sensations are coming up. And we're going to notice if it feels like we have no engagement in our inner thighs. We'll think about bringing the inner thighs in and down. Lifting up, you might feel your glutes activating here. We're going to just lightly squeeze in the glutes and just steadying down through the heels, the backs of the arms, lifting the chest. One more breath, maybe two. And then we're going to release, but slowly letting this go, letting the spine come down, letting the hips land, letting the knees roll in towards one another. And then we'll scoop the knees slowly into the chest. A nice little hug here. Maybe some little circles if those feel good. You can keep the legs together and just circle out one way. And then the other. And then we'll come to stillness. And just give yourself a nice big squeeze here, drawing your knees in any amount. And then we'll set the feet down. This is where we're going to grab our block. We'll take the block, low wide setting. We're going to lift the hips up and scoot the block underneath, resting the hips down on the block, the pelvis down on the block, making sure that it's comfortable. Making sure that it's comfortable, not pinching in any way. And then let your hips, your pelvis go heavy, settle into your feet, relax your arms, your shoulders, maybe close your eyes. Feel your breath flowing in and out. The whole length of the inhale, the whole length of the exhale. If you'd like to take this into legs up the wall and lift the feet up, straighten the legs out. You can take movements or stillness, your choice. See if you can keep your mind steady, just absorbed in the body, whether it's the movements, the sensations, or your breath. And then if feet are lifted, we might slowly begin to bend back into the knees to settle the feet back down and give your feet a moment to land. Ground down through both feet. And then we're going to press into the feet, lift the hips up, scoot the block out of the way. And from here, heel toe your feet in closer, the legs in closer, and we'll tee the arms out to the side. Preparing for a supine twist. We can scoot the hips just a little bit to the left, and we're going to let both knees begin to drop over to the right, letting that left hip lift. And we'll pause in our twist here. Option to take blanket or a block under that bottom knee. Notice if there's any tension being created in the body, any resistance towards settling in. Sometimes the props help. Also, if there's any tightness in your low back, just allow your knees to slide apart a little bit. We work towards bringing everything to stack, but not at the expense of other things. And then let's just slowly unwind this twist. Take your time, bringing the knees back up, leveling the hips, and then just a little scoot of the hips towards the right, letting the knees drop over towards the left. And settling in, observing each breath. Any changes in sensation. One more deep breath. And then slowly unwinding and coming back through center. Giving your hips a moment to settle. And then from here, let's just sweep both arms up overhead like we're making a snow angel, just reaching the arms up alongside the ears. We can interlace the fingers. We can flip the palms towards the wall behind, and that's a nice stretch there. And maybe we let one leg go long. We let the other leg go long. And just continue to reach. And then we're going to rotate the palms down. We'll slowly sweep the arms down by the sides. And we are ready for Shavasana here. We might just relax the legs, let the feet roll open, take the feet wider. If you have a special setup, go for it. Take any final movements beforehand as well. If there's anything you feel you need to do in your body, make sure you're warm enough. Wiggle and adjust as much as you need to. And then the idea is to become entirely still. Shavasana, corpse pose. The body is still, inactive. You have no attention or awareness to the breath. We're just going to allow the body to just simply be. The quote I wanted to share with you guys today comes from Young Pueblo. This is, if you need to take it slow, do so boldly. The speed of society can be exhausting. Technology can feel draining. The false sense of competition that exists in your mind can decrease your happiness. Personal success is much more likely when you focus on your path and you live without rushing. What that just means is you live with presence in the moment and without any attachment to the ego, that competitive vein that's so prevalent in our society. Letting go of that. And just begin to bring your awareness back, wiggling a little into fingers, toes, maybe circling wrists and ankles, and just building your way up through various movements, whatever feels good, maybe some windshield wipers, maybe tucking into a ball. And then just as you're ready, begin to make your way onto your right hand side and just tuck in to the fetal position, knees hugged in. Give yourself a pause here. You can really scrunch up, and this is a really comforting shape. And then let's just take the top hand down and just slowly begin to press yourself up to a seat. Take your time though. Choose a comfortable seat. Moment to find your spine and settle in. Tall spine. Maybe eyes closed. And just give yourself a moment here to see how you feel. If it feels nice, you can gently rub your hands up and down along the thighs. It's always a nice way to just kind of put up a little energy into the palms. Another just nice comforting sensation. And then we'll just come to stillness. And with your next inhale, just slowly circle your arms around and up. Bring palms to touch. And then exhale, lower your hands down through heart center and just pause here. If you'd like to join me in the sacred sound of Om, just always an option. If so, we're going to inhale together here. Om. And then with your next inhale, just gently lifting your chest. And as you exhale, bowing forward. I thank you all for sharing in this practice with me. Namaste. Namaste.